Hi guys!
Hi guys!
So we're back with another episode. I'm Priscilla.
And I'm Tina.
Preeti.
Aditya.
And today our topic is gonna be on about identity crisis. And we have our special guest, which is
Hello. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kudu.
Hi.
So you may know her as our guest with I'm a blog Maigo.
Judge.
Very picky and critical judge.
Still salty.
Let's talk about what is identity crisis. So obviously everyone knows about our friends and everyone and all of us. We know that we sort of have an identity crisis because Nepali mance boyo and we grew up in Singapore. That sort of makes us as a third culture kid. And what that means is actually a child who grew up in a different culture, different from their parents. So essentially that makes us because even though Nepal janza from time to time, but still our whole life that our environment and our culture, our bringing up ali mix भयो भनौं न Nepali र Singaporean. So what are your thoughts on about it? Like तिमीलाई कस्तो भइछ so far like अहिले हामी यस्तो ठुलो भएको बेलामा? I don't know.
For us, it's like we spend a lot of time in Singapore. Like hamro literally like childhood the teenagehood sanga. And I feel like it leaves us with like after country like love to but then also we are very used to the streets of Singapore. We are very used to how things are being done there and everything. And yeah, it's like literally around again. For me, right, the first few months was super confusing. Earlier, I think it has been like almost 250 days since I came to Nepal from Singapore. Then
You be counting.
Days counter.
Yeah, up till now I still like without my parents or without someone who is used to the system here, someone who's used to like like the battle here and everything. It feels pretty like weird, and I don't know, it just feels very isolating lah. Like I'm supposed to be Nepali, I'm supposed to like integrate well into Nepal, but it's very hard for me. And sometimes, oh my god, rati sometimes there hashtag emo nights and anything about Singapore.
Definitely. And luckily when I was back in Nepal and then luckily I went for the barista Osunjin learn गर्नका लागि रीति त गइस then like मेरो डेले मलाई नपुरायो के मैले त आफै जा back and forth and then at first like it was okay डलायो अनि तर I made friends with the त्यहाँको मान्छेहरु and then they live like भन्नाले like main town मा चाहिँ गयो मसँग then after that म चाहिँ आफै गए नि त घर आउनेको लागि and then like thank god त्यसले चाहिँ at least better बनायो के like my नेपालको experience बसेको एकछिनलाई भनौं न.
For me, personally, because I came here at like a very critical age. I came here like when I was in my, that adolescent period. So it was like very difficult for me to cope. And then there were like that need to adapt to like a completely new society. Everything is new. The norms are new. So the culture is new. The language is new. And it just feels so weird that everyone can speak Nepali around you. Okay? And then it just feels weird. And how you're inclined to speak in English because like that's how we spoke there. Then you speak in English. Then people will judge you. Not just judge you. They will like some people even dare to mock you. Okay? They will be like, if I'm speaking background, but I can hear them like say what like they're repeating what I'm saying. Okay? In like a very like weird ass English accent going on. And then I'm just like, that's really rude. Excuse me. Even the smallest thing, right? Like the sense of humor is very different to what what we're used to. Okay? Then it makes you so sad. Okay? My friends will joke about something, then they will all laugh. Okay? And I'm just like, what did she say? And I was like, ha ha ha. I kind of got it. I really didn't get it. Okay? But I just act like I understood it because I just felt weird if I was the only one who was not laughing. Okay? So it's really difficult, but with time, you get used to it. You're like, okay,
think it's like a blessing here that we got to not grow up, as in we got to witness few different like environments, cultures, different way of living. But it's just like kind of gets to us when like because like the one, like for example, the one question that we get, whenever we're in school or whatever, where are you from? Where are you from? We'll be like NPSG के भनौँ हुन्छ नि त तर मैले चाहिँ नेपाल नै भन्छु नि त. And the next question that will follow up is oh कहिले आएको, like when did you come? And then I'll be like actually म यहीँ born भएको हो हुन्छ नि त. And then they'll be like oh so त Singaporean हो हुन्छ नि त. Then I'm like होइन. Then it's the same kind of questions wherever you go, and then you have to repeat every single thing like कसरी like so like why are you like not Singaporean when you're born here then I just say it's complicated. Then like,
That's
like,
I used to be like, oh, esto. Then after a while, you're just so like done with it. You're like, yeah, it's complicated lah.
But जे भए पनि मलाई चाहिँ नेपाल चाहिँ homeland नै लाग्छ जे भए पनि. Although I like spent like my majority of my life in Singapore, and I feel like my heart is in Nepal. नेपालको माया गर्ने छोरी.
Moving on, we have talked about all these struggles and what we have felt like as being a third culture kid, and like हामी just बसेको Singapore देखि or like Nepal देखि आएर पनि like के problems भयो भन न हाम्रो life or what we are भनेर. So what do you think? What is home भनेर? How do you define it, home as actually?
Like honestly, I feel for me, I don't like yeah we do have homes here, but I feel like for me I don't really have a home, like because we were born in Singapore now, and like it's like for me that's my home just because like our dad go like the pension beta we have to come here, and now I'm like in studying in college and just I feel whatever I've been doing for this 1 year, like it's been 1 year I've been here, it's like a dream. Like I feel like I'm going through a trial, Yeah, I get you. Got it. Nah, I'll be like just like what am I doing here? And so like I just get that weird vibe like whoa, I'm in Nepal right now. Cause feeling
like you like to like we like is it हामी छुट्टी लागेको जस्तो क्या.
Dude, the first few like months I was not first few weeks I was in Nepal and after pension. Did y'all ever feel like chutti or then you're like oh
yeah
shit.
No, I felt I felt it more. So at times, then whenever I look at हाम्रो सबै हाम्रो सामान ल्याएको छ नि त्यो उसहरु छ नि ड्रमहरु ल्याउँछ नि देख्छ नि ना I feel like okay means I can't go back anymore, means
honestly reality hasn't like
set in yet, right? Yeah. अनि मान्छेसँग socialize because म just like where are you from? Singapore. I just say I'm from Singapore because I relate much more from there rather than Nepal. Like if they ask me about Nepal stuff, then I'm like, I don't really know. So it's like I would say a home is where I grew up in, like where where all my my cultures was based in. So I would say it's Singapore, like home. I don't know.
For me, home is Singapore ne. Like the question ma, like I agree with Priscilla and Sudrina that Singapore is where I feel more connected. Like it feels more homely to me, but no. Because okay, I am connected to both मेरो birthplace Singapore and my place of origin like right our place of origin Nepal and however like Singapore we always have this huge space मेरो मुटुमा क्या. Like it's a permanent space that can never go away despite like spending, even if I spend like 10 years or 20 years Nepal I'll never like this space will never be removed or like be like taken over by something else like Nepal. So I just feel more connected to Singapore. Home is where your heart is, where you're born at.
Oh,
Isn't
Yeah.
it like
okay.
so weird, like when we're in Singapore, we're seen as foreigners. But when we're here, we're also seen as foreigners this day. We're not seen as
Yeah.
the local here. So it's like,
That is what
Boiler,
exactly.
boiler.
Yeah, this is
na
what
ita
exactly.
na uta.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The cul-
Wait, hold up. Can we
Oh.
explain to our viewers what boiler means? Okay, so in Nepal, right, there's like, you raise chickens and everything. There's like the local chicken, which is like roaming free, literally like,
A
from
boiler.
farms and everything.
Yeah.
And then there's boiler chickens, which are like so-called factory farmed lah. Like they are kept in cages and like they don't know the outside world to say.
Yeah.
So when us like Banjiaru or like Banzaru come, or like people who are raised overseas and they come to Nepal, we are known as boilers because we don't know how the society around us works.
And
Sometimes that word pisses me off, but sometimes I just take it as a joke lah. I'm just like, that's right.
And there's that prejudice of us that we don't know, like, we're not like, how to say, street smart, or like, we don't know how to go about doing life. Like, it kind of makes me a bit agitated, because like trauma as in like we grew up in a different environment on Sarma, we know a few things, and then I guess the people here, your environment grew up with, they know the things here, it's like different faces, different strengths, just say.
I mean, like, the people here who are born and bred here now, when they go to Singapore, they also be like foreigners nito. They also need like super long time to get used to all the things there. Same for us. Panta same like when we come here, we also need time. Like they make fun girls or like they talk about us like, oh, you boiler, like you don't know anything, something like you don't know anything about here or there, I'm just like, you will be a boiler when you go Singapore then. It's like Singapore is much more easier to move about compared to Nepal. So like you maybe na una we're like, you didn't na. It's so easy. Just get on the bus and go, tap the card to go. It's like quite hard, no.
Okay, yeah lah. When I first came to Nepal that first 1.5 years, I think, I kept being like, no, like my home is Singapore. Like that's where I considered my home was enough. But then, okay, first month I was in denial. You go through phases of identity crisis. Let me bring you to this phase. The first phase is denial, where you're like, no, my heart is still there. That is my place. That's the denial part. That will last you, I don't know how long, but for me, it lasted me like about 1.5 years to about 2 years. Somehow I was in denial. And then that's when it changed into a very negative emotion, which was anger. I felt angry. You know why? I felt very frustrated. I was like, how can you do this to me? It's like, oh, I spent so much time here. I spent like all my life here. All my memories were made here. And then suddenly you just push me off that land. Like, why did you do that to me? Like, you robbed me of my memories, of my everything. I would felt so frustrated. I would be so angry. And then I came to a realization that, okay, home is where, at the end of the day, no matter where you are, no matter how long you stay, they will always accept you back. And that was Nepal for me. That's when I realized, no, Nepal is my home. That's the phases I went through. And then now I'm like, no, I'm Nepali. Like Singapore, obviously, since it's a place that Singapore is like a mother. Singapore is like the biological mother that gave birth to you, but then you got disowned and then you got like dropped off at a orphanage, and then Nepal is the one that picked you up.
So how have you guys like socialized with your relatives or like not just neighbors or bit and not like we just strangers or bus locks and public transport locks or like we go to shops. Like your mom like, oh, just dana pasal dana and like I feel like
Yeah.
civil home. How do I say civil home?
Yeah, civil home. Civil home is
So I used to live there now. So like any month like then when I got out then obviously I'm in the Banale outside just the one now. Then everybody look at me, I don't get it. What am I to look at? Then mere boli paramani like here's I'm just like, what?
Dude,
This is normal. Hello. And then very awkward laughter.
since I came to Nepal, I've like been studying in college, and everyone in there, like, obviously some Singapore ko banja banji, like I can like communicate with them, but I've made local friends, and you know, they've been making fun of my Nepali. Like they say the way I talk is like batase. I mean, like you know, some words I can't understand. Okay, and then sometimes sir, college man, pure Nepali bolununze, and I'm like, what is he saying? We have this math sir, and like for the first class, he made a joke in Nepali. Okay, like middle class now, we had some Singaporean bandaru also, and he made a joke. Everyone was laughing except for us. Like we were like, what is he saying? Like and I have to ask my local friend, what is he saying? And then when they're like explaining the joke, right, I'm like, I still can't like laugh because it's not funny, or like I don't really understand. I struggled for like a few months. Actually, I'm still struggling because sometimes and I'm like, and and when I try to make a joke, they don't laugh. Like they're like, the only people who laugh like Timor Matre.
For me, like my mom tells me, "Oi, tu posal zana, like can you buy this? Can you buy that?" I'm just like, can you follow me? Like I can't go alone. Like, what is money in Nepali? Like, how? Like there was this one experience that I went. I did go to like a postal nearby Miragar. My mom told me to buy like some biscuit in the like biscuits and all that. I was carrying like a 50 rupees note, and I walked over there, and then I asked the auntie, like, हजुरले मलाई सबैभन्दा सस्तो खालको बिस्किट दिनु सक्नुहुन्छ? And then she was like, okay, I think I was imagining, like, judging from her face, right? I think she was like, "You मान्छे कहाँबाट आएको? Like, why is a Nepali so weird?" That kind of facial expression there. Then she was like, "Oh, छ," and then she took that one out and then passed it to me, and then I gave her the note. Then after that, I waited for my change. I was like, and then auntie was like, अरू केही चाहिन्छ? Then I was like, can China. And he's like, I'm like, thank you. And then I went up there, I was like, oh, it was 50 rupees. And I was like, oh man. Over time, my experience by Baji, I think it's okay. It made quite pretty easy to adapt to the paisa.
As being a third culture kid, what do you think are the problems that we are gonna face just coming in our later lives? Now, because we are just 20 years old, that's more, we're gonna enter the workforce and everything. So what do you think are the problems that we're gonna face there actually? Because on the internet, I looked it up and they said like actually there are many companies who looked into this fact that we grew up in a different culture from our parents, and like also what we can gain from the schools, because like Abba and me Noya Town, so we gain that international mindset and like how we work and everything. So I get that is good in that sense. That was one advantage.
I think the biggest worry for us as third culture kids, as like boilers, basically is language, because for us to assimilate here properly, हामी बोल्नु सक्नु पर्यो नि त, like प्रष्ट नेपाली, we need to like understand like how different words are. Like for example, when I'm talking to y'all Nepali like to भन्छ हैन मैले, but here is like oh, you naughty, it's like Timmy, तपाईँ चल्छ नि. Just small things like this in our speaking that will make all the difference when we are, let's say, looking for work, or like not even looking for work, maybe we are looking for like a part-time, we are looking for like somewhere we can, just, I don't know man, like यहाँ काम गर्नु नै कस्तो गाह्रो नै हुन्छ जस्तो लाग्छ for the first few years maybe, but then after a while, like we know a lot of like हाम्रो दाइ दिदीहरू दिसी भान्जाहरूले who are adapting pretty well to Nepal. Okay? Like, apart from businesses, they also like have a lot of local साथीहरू हुन्छ, then they seem to be having a lot of fun like social media मा देख्छ नि त, and it's like pretty heartwarming to know that those before us, they have like gone through the struggles that we have, and they have actually like so-called emerged successful. It doesn't make me feel as lonely or as like sad about my situation lah.
I think I feel like this is just like a tiny phase in your life. Like you still have a lot more to go. This is just like, a small part of your life, and it's a small struggle that you have to overcome by yourself. And the thing is, it's not really a big deal. I mean, you may feel like, oh, my world is crashing down, identity crisis and all at this phase and all, but then like few years from now, you're just gonna be like, oh lol, I went through that phase. I don't think it's like a big deal unless you like take that situation and like dwell on it to the point where you have like depression or some kind of stuff, then that's when it gets serious up. Or not, it's not really a big deal and you get over it, okay? Like, yeah. So stay strong until then.
We asked some of you guys actually on our profile. We asked, what is home? Do you have this sort of identity crisis like us? And Tina will just go on more about it. Do you want to take it on?
It's my honor, Priscilla. Okay, so we specifically asked Hamro, fellow GC Banza Banzis, our friends, some questions on Instagram. And the first question we asked was actually, have you ever had an identity crisis? And actually, majority of them said yes, 83% to be exact. And then the next one was, I don't really feel belonged in the country I am in now. So it like refers to those who are in Nepal or Singapore. And then, yeah, 50, majority of them say, yeah, I don't really feel belonged. And that, I mean, these two questions already says a lot. And the next question was actually thoughts on having to leave a country you've spent your entire life in. We got answers saying that it's bittersweet, but some were also positive. They were like sad, but also excited for a whole new environment for a different country. And one of them was like, wish there were more options of staying. And I think we could give some thoughts on that also. Yeah, like, I think that's a good insight. Last but not the least, we asked, what is your definition of homeland? And they were like, where my heart is, where family and comfort is, comfort rides, and it's a place where, like Sahana said, the last place I'd go to if I have nothing left. And I think I can just end off by saying that sentence. Home is where the last place that we'd all go to if we had nothing left.
So with that very bittersweet or just a realization of what home is actually, we have come to this end of this episode, and thank you, Suresna, for joining us. Anything would you like to say?
Thank you guys for having me in this podcast. First of all, I would like to say that it's a really great platform for most of us Banta Bangis to voice out our problems and connect with each other. Yeah, it's great.
Thank you to Suresna once again, and also our viewers for joining us on this episode. And we hope you like, share, and subscribe our channel. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.